The topic of my thesis is about the role of women in society, and it develops through a historical background from the Roman era to the present. It will take into account different historical contexts as well as those female characters, some of whom are not among the most known, who marked their generation by revolutionizing an archaic and sexist mentality. My paper does not exclusively glorify women while blaming men, but rather bears witness to how women over the centuries have been belittled and underrated. We just needed and still need to foster an egalitarian mindset because yesterday was not so different from today. In the 17th century, during the Baroque, all the aspects taken for granted like marriage, children, divorce, and education were overturned by the French ladies and their literary silence. On these occasions, women discussed matters of moral and the truth. Artemisia Gentileschi immediately proved her talent while working in her father's workshop. Unfortunately, her collaboration lasted just until 1612 when she reported her teacher of perspective for sexual abuse. These incidents had no implications on his personal life and career, while Artemisia was strongly condemned from a moral viewpoint. The Italian painter decided to prove that she was a virgin prior to being raped by him. It happened under torture, the so-called torture of the Sibyl, which entailed tying ropes around the fingers and tightening them more and more until the fingers bled. During the French Revolution, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen was drafted with the aim of guaranteeing a fair society based on equality. The paradox was that women were not included in this process. Olympe de Gouges, an activist dedicated to every kind of fight aimed at making society better, took a public stance against the declaration by pointing out that it was valid only for men. A very courageous statement to make that at that time. Olympe de Gouges worked on a new declaration, firstly by substituting the word man and citizen with woman and female citizen, and in 1791 the Declaration of the Rights of Woman and Female Citizen was drafted. Her objective was to claim women's rights regarding issues such as sexual freedom and the right to divorce, as well as speaking up for illegitimate children and adolescent mothers. In 1793, Olympe was guillotined following the publication of a manifesto in which she publicly opposed the reign of terror. Oriana Fallaci made Italy proud of her not only for her work on the condition of women, but also on the wars in the Middle East. At the beginning of the 70s, once being a journalist, she was entrusted with an investigation on the lifestyle of women in different parts of the world, which, apart from Italy, took her to Pakistan, Japan, China, Hawaii, and the United States. Oriana analyzed the role of women in society, highlighting their change and emancipation. In Pakistan, she discovered marriage was not a choice but something imposed by women's parents or the husband-to-be. In India, the journalist met Amir Kaur, an Indian politician, who explained that after the 1930 revolution, the situation for women in the country had totally changed. Polygamy was abolished and they obtained the right to vote. In Malaysia, she met some local matriarchs who only had authority from an economic point of view, as they owned land. They refused the right to vote because they thought it would mean putting authoritarian men in power. In China, Oriana discovered the foot binding tradition. When they were 5 years old, little girls had their toes, except for the big toe, bandaged so tight with stripes of cotton that they broke. In Japan, the world had brought a wave of innovation as women started considering marriage in the same way as men did, also having the chance to divorce. While in Tokyo, Oriana discovered the world of geishas, symbol of beauty, grace, mystery, and femininity. The sexual abuse suffered by women has inevitably led to the so-called feminism, that is to say the search for economic, political, and social equality by both men and women. Because this is the real meaning of the word, we can take into consideration the book We Should All Be Feminists, written by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, where she argues against the most common convictions according to which all feminists are unhappy, grumpy, and hate men. The aim of the book is to overturn this vision through situations she experienced personally and mistakes made in the past. For example, now thanks to her well-established beliefs about being a woman, she only wears heels and lipstick for herself and not to please a man. Therefore, it is necessary for all women to fight against together, reminding how hard it is to have a role in society. My thesis is not aimed at providing the image of women who need to be pitied as victims of abuse over the centuries. On the contrary, it highlights their strength in reacting and marking progress. In my own small way, I wanted to convey a message of encouragement to those who still feel oppressed and to whom their rights as women are still not recognized. Change is possible, we just have to fight boldly and believe in ourselves as well as in the cause we have chosen.